I read an article recently about an American man in his 60s who believed that people were abducting children and siphoning the blood out of them, like vampires, to sell on the black market. That sucks. The man was so upset by this that he was crying, as he described it. The man then said that he had heard, and he was very proud to report, that then President Donald Trump was spending his personal time, like a vampire hunter, tracking down, and this is a direct quote, fighting these blood-sucking vermin. The crying 60-ish man believed this with all his heart. I want to set aside the image of Donald Trump dressed as a vampire hunter for a moment. Instead, let's focus on that quote, blood-sucking vermin. You might be sitting there thinking,
wait a minute, that sounds so familiar. Where have I heard the phrase blood-sucking vermin before?
In America, you learn about the phrase blood-sucking vermin in your high school history class. Specifically, when you study World War II, Hitler, and Nazi propaganda. Blood-sucking and vermin were labels used by the Nazis to manufacture a fear of and hatred towards Jewish people. The 60-ish American man was crying over a Nazi conspiracy theory. What I want to know is, why? Why does this man and so many other Americans believe and become so emotionally affected by stories that are clearly not true? Let's say you're at a fork in the road. You can go left or you can go right. Going left will take you somewhere you've never been. In that direction, there are dark and ominous clouds. When you look that way, a cold wind blows in your face. That way is an unknown, uncharted world. Going right takes you to a place you know like the back of your hand. In that direction, it's warm and sunny. You can smell your favorite meal from when you were a kid wafting towards you, just up the road. Which direction are you more likely to choose? The answer is always the same. You are unconsciously and instinctively drawn towards what appears warm, safe, and familiar. You're going to go right. You're going to go right because it's easier and feels much safer than going left. Why did the American man in his 60s believe that vampires were abducting children and selling their blood on the black market? Because in terms of mental cognition, in terms of how much work his mind has to do, believing that made-up story is, 1, easier than any alternative, and 2, it feels a bit like home. It's easier for him to believe that the President of the United States could take time out of his job running a country of 332 million people to fight vampires with what I'm guessing is wooden stakes than it is for him to think critically and go, maybe that's not what's going on. It's easier for angry white Americans to focus their rage and anger on immigrants and minorities than it is for them to see that what they've been told their entire lives might not be true.
Immigrants are stealing your jobs. Black people just want free handouts. Both of them are draining our resources, taking your money, and are a strain on our great nation.
Draining. Draining is an interesting word choice, isn't it? Especially when we hold it up next to blood-sucking vermin.
Immigrants are stealing your jobs. Black people just want free handouts. Both of them are draining our resources, taking your money, and are a strain on our great nation.
Those are white nationalist talking points. And those white nationalist talking points, for many, are home. Going left or right at this fork is not about what makes the most logical sense. It's about what's easiest. Do you have any fucking idea how hard it was for me to figure out how to say the word coffee correctly? Coffee? No, coffee. The letter C in the word makes a K sound. Coffee. God damn it, no, not with that Q sound. Coffee. And that's going left for one fucking word. Imagine trying to do that for something unthinkably hard. It's just so much easier to go with what you already know, to stick with your implicit bias. It's easier for my parents to load the dishwasher their way. It's easier to say,
Wait, why aren't you laughing? It's funny.
Than it is to understand why it's not. It's easier to say that an international and life-threatening virus is fake than it is to believe in science you don't understand. It's easier to think that you're a victim and that your rights are being taken from you than it is to wear a mask to decrease your chances of catching said virus. It's easier to decide to attack the mecca of democracy here in America, the nation's Capitol building, and kill its police officers than it is to contemplate how long you might end up in a federal prison for doing so. It's easier to say that being an American means unquestioning loyalty to the words individual responsibility, honor, integrity, and freedom than it is to examine those words in the context of our present. It's easier to believe that Donald Trump is a genius, vampire hunter, and some kind of great white savior than it is to see him for all of the terrible things he really is. It's just so much easier for an American to say,
I don't play a role. Fuck you. I live my life by my own standards. I'm not biased. I'm free. I'll kill you.
than it is to say,
Hey, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
it's easier to feel than it is to think. If all that crying American man in his 60s sees on TV and reads about on social media are claims that the Nazi conspiracy theory that children are having the blood sucked out of them is true, well then, what is the easiest thing for him to do? The easiest thing for him to do is to believe it.